We are out here in City of Industry, California at Cooler Master's new North America HQ. There's a lot of new hardware to check out. We also have some Dynexes and Orbexes to check out, and Acura's even here with some really cool race cars. So let's get to it and check it out.
All right, right here we've got the FreeForm 2.0 section. So this basically includes the MasterFrame series along with the Cube series. We've got the brand new Cube 540 right here, which is a really cool, slight variation of the Cube 500, which we have done quite a few builds on already. Except now they're implementing a 3D printing like peg system to the external panels of the Cube 540. It's actually really cool and something that I didn't really think about when we were first building the Cube 500. And then of course we've got the MasterFrame 600 and the MasterFrame 400 over here. And not just the MasterFrame cases as well, but we also have various upcoming panel types for the MasterFrame series. We've got wood and we've got like this stone slate type covering panel, and obviously as well as the perforated ventilated panels. So we actually have quite a few different options with the MasterFrame series that they're going to expand upon in the future. And then obviously we've got our awesome silver and black MasterFrame 600 builds that we've done ourselves that Cooler Master was kind enough to let us show here at the show. This is probably our favorite aspect about the build section and the PC case section that they have here at the show, mainly because the MasterFrame series really can highlight, I mean, especially with the Cube series as well, it really highlights the fact that you can DIY a lot of different things with the cases themselves, not just build a normal build as you would with any other case, right? With all the different interchangeable panels and stuff like that, the accessories, you can really transform your build into something not just completely normal that you would see any other day, but a build that you can call your own with its own personality that can match your own personality. Something we're really excited about is the MasterFrame 400. Don't have an exact date on the availability for the MasterFrame 400 yet, but as soon as it's available, especially for us, we're gonna be getting our hands on one because, I mean, as you can see, we've already conquered the MasterFrame 600. Now we're going to be on to the 400, and then as well as the Cube 540.
This right here, we actually have the Cooler Master MasterHub. So this is Cooler Master's solution to a macro pad. So if you look at it here, it is completely customizable. We have a 15-key macro pad. If you are a Photoshop user, a Premiere user, you can customize the macro keys to be whatever tool you want within those same programs, or just to open programs themselves. Like I had mentioned, it is fully adjustable, so say you don't have a use for certain modules, you can swap it out and put on something completely different and also have those customizable for hue, saturation, obviously volume control, but it is a very neat product. We're lucky enough to have one of those at our house too. So if you want us to do a review or give a little bit more in depth of this product and the things that it can do, let us know in the comments and we would be more than happy to. This was a Kickstarter product, so Cooler Master does this really cool thing where they get community feedback on how the product would respond, and it was fully funded. So all the units were purchased and funded through Kickstarter, and now it's available for us to purchase.
So here we have the new Hyper 212 and the new V4 Alpha. Now these are both their 3D HP series of air coolers that they have. So this is basically a revisioned version of their new Hyper 212 cooler that's been around for quite a while. The Cooler Master had debuted many years ago, and then they have their V4, which is kind of like a toned down version of the V8 version cooler that they had display on at Computex. And so these are completely revisioned air coolers that feature the patented 3D HP technology, and as you can see here, they've got a complete breakdown of how these coolers work. Maximizes the multi-dimensional heat transfer for faster, quieter, more reliable cooling, delivering more performance from smarter design. So basically what that means is they've absolutely taken the original design of, especially like the 212 here, and they've completely revamped how cooling technology has transformed over the past decade since the 212 had first come out, right? Back in the day, we had just the normal copper heat pipes, but now we're looking at a completely revisioned heat pipe design, and it's really cool that they're kind of bringing back some of their older designs. Obviously, they've got the coolers paired up with their Mobius 120 millimeter fans, which are great fans that we've used in the past, and so they've got a really sleek, especially with the V4, they've got a really sleek top that hides the tops of the heat sinks, where you can kind of see the poke through of the heat pipes here. And I kind of really appreciate the top facade that a lot of these coolers show nowadays. And with the Hyper 212, it's very clean and sleek. It's just a thin sheet of aluminum and provides a really nice aesthetic once everything's installed. Over here, though, this is something really cool. And obviously, if you guys know us, you guys know that we love external radiators. This is Cooler Master's version of an external radiator sub. So this is their AquaGate Max Retro. And it actually features dual 280 millimeter radiators in a fully enclosed system that can handle parallel and serial type loop setups. It's rated for 1,000 to 2,000 watt dissipation capacity. That being said, so what we've got is we've got two intake sides and we've got exhaust out the top, and I think we've got some fans in the front as well. I did pop off these panels right here, and I did see 280 rad and then a 280 rad right here. I don't know what's going on right here. There actually might be a third 280, which would make sense for the 1,000 to 2,000 watt dissipation, but it's basically intake all around with exhaust out the top, and that makes sense in terms of like what they're trying to achieve here. What my favorite part though is it's utilizing the same kind of footprint and design language as the MasterFrame series. So one of the really cool things that I appreciate about what Cooler Master is doing is they're really bringing in their design cohesion across their entire product stack, right? It's not just, oh yeah, this is a new product and that's a new product. They all exist within the same ecosystem, and you can see that, especially if you look closely here on their frame system. This is the exact same frame system that we deal with on the MasterFrame 600, 500, and 400. So it's really cool to see that they basically shortened MasterFrame 600 and made it into a giant external radiator setup. Do you think we should mess with this? Do you think we should play with this? I think this would be a lot of fun to do a build with, especially with the paired up MasterFrame 600 with like crazy hardware, right? Something like, like a Threadripper setup or a dual 5090 setup, something that would actually utilize and require cooling of this kind of capacity. We've got a really cool digital sensor readout right here that kind of tells you what ports are connected, which are not, the fan RPM, the coolant temperature, and then you can kind of control the fan settings directly onto the screen. So it's really cool, all in-house, I would say essentially proprietary setup that Cooler Master has done for their external radiator setup. Obviously with us, we love the universal version, right, where you can kind of do it yourself if you don't want to buy into a proprietary setup, or you don't have to pay the cost of whatever this may cost, because we're not really sure on the cost yet. But it's really cool to see another brand step in and say, hey, we can do external radiators too. We really appreciate this design, and we're hoping to maybe have some fun with it in the future. Like we said with the external radiators, we also are huge fans, right? We love all brands, all types, all sizes. Fans are something that you can really transform a build. And these are actually a line of fans that we are really hoping to use for our MasterFrame builds, but these are the new MasterFrame A series, M series, and R series. And the main difference between these two are the materials used in these fans. So obviously you're seeing right here, we've got some grills included on the fans, and that's for good reason. So this is an all aluminum frame, all aluminum blade fan, and they ramp up to 4,000 RPM. So if you can imagine 4,000 RPM fans with metal blades, it's kind of dangerous, but it's a good thing because Cooler Master's thinking ahead with adding a grill to the fan themselves. And then you've got a hybrid version where you've got aluminum frame and plastic blade. So, you know, it's not so killer if you accidentally stick your finger in these, right? And then with the R series, you've got full plastic housing as well as blades. So you've got 3 different levels of basically the same spec, just with different materials. We were really trying to get our hands on the A series, the full metal. We would love to do some tests with these and maybe change up the grill design. This is like the classic PC fan grill design that's been around since like the early 90s. I personally think it's time for a change, but you know, it makes sense that they would include these with these fans. I'm not going to knock Cooler Master on the grill design themselves because it makes absolute sense for a metal blade, but I personally think that these kinds of fans deserve a really cool fan blade grill design, and you know, we've done quite a few different fan grills in the past, so I think it would be a really good time to kind of design something really special for these kinds of fans. Not only that though, but these are also 35 millimeter thick fans, so you know, that's the kind of the going fad right now, is that everyone is increasing the thickness of these fans to increase the blade pitch and increase actual air intake on these fans so you can increase performance. And so it's a good thing that they're not just making new materials and new design, they're actually going the extra step and saying, hey, instead of doing it like a 30 mil thick fan, rather than the traditional 25, they're upping it to 35 millimeter thick. So, all right, so we've got a really cool, basically a special edition version of what the MasterFrame series can be like. So this is the 360 Panorama S, and it's a limited edition version of basically the MasterFrame series. So as you can see, it's meant to showcase something very special in the front. Obviously, we've got a Deadpool themed system here, but it can basically be any kind of special figure that you want to show off. It even comes with 2 like display lights that can actuate and set up in perfect like RGB fashion, so you can like set the lighting and mood perfectly for whatever kind of figure that you have. But past that, a lot of the chassis is kind of unique in its sense. The frame is very reminiscent of a normal MasterFrame case like the 600, except obviously with the front we've got a full panoramic glass setup. But the back of the case and the frame design is very reminiscent of the normal MasterFrame 600, but the interior seems to be a lot different in the sense of how it's structured. Now obviously you can see here that there are mounting points that look and appear as if you can mount alongside these rails the same similar fashion as the MasterFrame series. And so I think you might be able to adjust the motherboard panel up and down based on whatever kind of hardware that you have here. And obviously we've got the Cooler Master RTX 5080 series, which is like their really crazy air-cooled version of the card. So you can see that this is an absolutely massive card. I would even say it's a little bit bigger than the ROG Astral. So as you can see, it can completely fill the biggest air-cooled card that you can think of on the market with ease, right? You've got a little bit of extra room past that. You can obviously do EATX as well as ATX size motherboards with 360, and I'm hoping honestly that you can do 420 in the bottom, but with the display in the front, I'm not really sure about that. I would love to be able to kind of play around with this case, and I'm hoping that we can show off some really cool figures that we have for ourselves in this case. But with that, we also have the Cosmos Alpha Gold. So this is like a really special edition of the Cosmos case line that Cooler Master's had for many years. So the coolest thing about this is, one, it's a limited edition. It's gold colored, but the front panel is actually really special. So this is basically molten nickel that they poured through styrofoam, and then the styrofoam burned away, and the essence of what that molten nickel went through as it burned through the styrofoam is what you're seeing here. It's an insane texture that basically increases surface area like crazy, but it also breathes really well. And it's interesting because based on how much surface area this kind of texture has, I do hope that we can see a version of an air cooler that utilizes the same technology, because yes, it breathes really well and they're implementing it as a front panel, but I know that with the increased surface area of an insane 3D intricate all the surfaces of the nickel going through the foam and burning off, I know that the surface area is immense on this panel. So I'm excited to see what Cooler Master does more with this in the future. But this case actually also houses really cool Cooler Master liquid cooled version of like basically their AIO system. So if you look closely here, we've got it appears to be a pump distro combo, and you've got it doesn't appear to be quick disconnect in this system. It seems to be all direct connected, but you've got a fully liquid cooled GPU and a fully liquid cooled CPU that's all based on the same loop. And with the radiators, they're actually on the back side, so you don't even have to deal with any sort of radiators on the front in terms of you don't even see the aesthetic, so you can maintain a really clean aesthetic within this case and have kind of everything kind of be in a stealth-like setup. And so you've got what appears to be a dual 180 millimeter radiator setup, and you've got two of them side by side. So this thing's got massive cooling capability, and you just have a really insanely revamped Cosmos case that, throughout the years, the Cosmos cases have been really big in size. And it's really cool seeing Cooler Master kind of like up the ante every single time with their Cosmos case line. And so this version of the Cosmos and what we're seeing here is by far the most extreme version that we've seen. But honestly, I would say my favorite part is this front panel, because there's been nothing like it that we've seen, and it's a really cool case.
Okay, so we also have a pretty cool lineup of some new AIO coolers. We have the MasterLiquid Core 2 series as well as the MasterLiquid Atmos 2 series. You can see right here we have a 240 as well as a 360 millivate version. Something that I really like also is that these are an older design fan, the Sickle Flow fan edge fans. So this is actually an older design that Cooler Master has revamped and made more efficient. And so it's cool to see, just the same design being refined. I really do, and we really appreciate that attention to detail. Another cool thing about these is it does have interchangeable faces on the cooler itself. So we have a pixel LED as well as LCD. Obviously, we have the normal AIO cooler top if you just want that. But something else we have is a VRM fan cooler. So you can see right in here that it is cooling all the VRM and all components around it. So kind of a neat little addition to that. On the Atmos 2 fans, or the Atmos 2 AIOs, it is a one single, you can see all the fans are connected here. So that's great for installation. Everybody knows one of the hardest parts of installing the AIO is having to install multiple fans. So love the RGB diffusion on these. Love that they are just revamped versions, and yeah. Now, obviously, we had to check out the Orb X for ourselves, which is basically the final boss of productivity. With an ergonomic recliner and adjustable headrest and lumbar support, you can be sure that you're comfortable when you're working or when you're gaming. It basically locks you in, safely, of course, because they thought of that too, so you can get your stuff done. It supports up to 3 27-inch monitors with a built-in sound system and all of the inputs that you would need. And of course, you can set the ARGB lighting to fit whatever vibe you're feeling at the time. We hope that you like this video. Please leave a comment if so, and subscribe if you aren't already.